The greater part of the profits fell into the pockets of the British government, whose agents in Asia controlled the opium production in Bengal. The East India Company did not publicly dirty its hands by bringing the drug to China. It commissioned and managed plantations of opium poppies across hundreds of thousands of Indian acres. It took care of the processing, the painstaking lancing of individual poppy seed pods for raw opium gum, setting and drying the gum in trays, pressing it into cakes, and coating these in crushed dried poppy stems and leaves. Finally, it oversaw the packing of the drug into mango wood chests, its shipping to Calcutta, and auctioning off. At that moment, the company washed its hands of it, letting private merchants sail for the Chinese coast, where they anchored off the island of Lintin at the mouth of the Pearl River. Eager Chinese wholesalers would then use silver to buy certificates from private trading offices in Canton and exchange them for opium. This silver would in turn secure tea for the English market. And before the tea disappeared into British cups, the government would exact its import duties. Through the 19th century, these duties would be put to careful use. They covered a substantial part of the costs of the Royal Navy, which, naturally, kept the British Empire afloat. On the face of it, the arrangement was as tidy as the earlier silver tea trade, one side having something to sell, the other having something it wanted in exchange. But anxious members of the Qing government were no happier to lose silver than their British counterparts had been a few decades earlier, and were fearful of the corrupting effects of a booming drug culture. After a handful of attempted crackdowns in the 18th century, the Qing States War on opium began in earnest in the 1830s and would continue intermittently, inconsistently over the next 100 years. Britain's private opium sellers were also dissatisfied, for India could provide as much opium as China would take, and they resented the fact that the Qing's trade controls had pushed them into the black economy. They craved a more respectable image, to establish commerce on a footing equally advantageous and honorable, and wanted a lawful way into the China market, either through the legalization of opium or through the opening of ports to other British goods, and preferably both, to which end they began, through the 1830s, impudently edging the trade further north up the coast.